My mom was great at keeping records. I have everything from like, well, you know, she framed my receipt from the hospital, how much I cost.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. In case she wanted to return you.
Yeah. She gave it to me as a gift a couple of years ago.
That's so cute.
I actually think she was like hoping I would like cut her a check or something. Well, here we are.
Here we are.
And guys, you're listening to this. I don't know when you're listening to this. I don't know what you're doing.
It'll be, you know, it's one of those times where we're recording a little bit early because you'll be going out of town. I'll be going out of town.
We decided to go out of town, guys. We're going to go out of town. How about that? How about Caissie and I are both separately going out of town?
To different towns.
We're going to different towns. We've decided to get the fuck out of town. And so this is actually the end of last week. Whatever, you know.
Yeah, you know when it is.
Yeah, here we are. Here we are.
Together.
Uh-huh.
And I do want to say, I just feel like our listeners have been really talking each other through a rough few days, really holding each other up through a rough few days. I'm so proud of you guys. Yeah, I mean, it's been a time. I wish we would be able to. I texted my group text the other day. I love you guys. I'm so sorry that we're living through what will one day be history, but is right now our right now. And that's how I just feel for everyone. I wish things were boring. I wish things. I long to be bored. But anyway,
not going to happen.
Yeah, but I'm glad to be here with you. We just were shooting some stuff for Busy This Week. Thanks for the amazing feedback on the first episode of Busy This Week. It aired last week, but it was last night to us, and people sent me the nicest messages. So thanks for watching. If you haven't watched it, our friend Jessie Tyler Ferguson was on the show, along with some other friends. We did a Friendsgiving episode, and it was really, really fun. So people said that they found it really comforting, and some people said they watched it twice, which did my heart some good. So.
Yeah. And it's good for us. Yeah. I don't even know. This is really hard, guys. I don't know what to say. And like, I don't know. I feel I'm like everybody, like we're like all of us, many of us, we're trying to do many things at the same time and like grapple with multiple things, you know, trying to hold all. But also a little bit, I think I am just disassociated right now and just continue to kind of be disassociating.
Yeah.
In part because it's like so incredibly painful. And I also don't want to keep reading what is about to happen because I feel like that nothing is going, because that was just such a Caissie, what I just did just now. Because we knew what the Dobbs decision was going to be because it had been leaked. And my grief when the Dobbs decision was made on June 24th, whatever, 2022, my grief was overwhelming still.
Yeah.
And so I guess there's no amount of punditry and like preparing for what is about to happen on day one or whatever, because there's nothing that we can do to change it right now.
Right.
And also, like, like the Dobbs decision, I really do feel this way. Like the Dobbs decision, there was nothing we could do to change it. There wasn't. It was done.
Right.
And so it's hard for me because like there's no amount of organizing or what, like I don't fucking know.
Right.
And I also think that like putting myself through the like running the scenarios emotionally until they happen I know now is useless, because when it happens, it's like the first time and worse.
Yeah. And you can't really predict.
Because you can't.
So there's no point rehearsing a mini version of it, or.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so like, I am angry. I'm so angry. I'm so unbelievably angry. And I have so much rage about this. But in this moment, I don't know what else to do except to try to focus on our job.
Right.
And my kids and my family and my family members, my extended family members who are going to be affected. So,
well, I think it's what we've talked about before. I just keep saying the words prepare and take care to myself, which, take care of yourself. And I hear a lot of people saying, and I don't think they're wrong, I'm just going to take care of mine, which is kind of what you were just saying. And then I think like, I agree, like I'm going to take care of mine and I'm going to work on expanding who mine is. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to work on, yes, my family, my extended family, my friends, but also like who are other friends to bring into the fold, and how can I just help take care of the people around me? Because here's the thing that I know, a lot of people that thought they wanted this, they're going to need to be taken care of as much as anyone, and maybe even more so. And I'm angry too. I'm hurt. I'm just hurt that people, I don't know what to say. Like, I don't know where this comes from, this feeling that people just don't see other people as valuable as themselves. And that really hurts my heart. But then, I know that there's going to come a time when one of those people is going to be like, I didn't know that this would happen to me.
It happened the first time around as well.
Right.
So a little bit, I'm sorry.
No,
but I'm like, fool me once, motherfuckers.
Right.
Guess what?
Right. And that's a valid feeling. So I'm just thinking a little bit about like how, when that moment happens again, what is my response to it? And, what is the appropriate response to it? Yeah, it really sucks. And I'm so sad that I was away from my family. Like I just texted my kids, like, I'm so sorry that we're ruining your country. Like we can't seem to stop. I don't know what this is. But yeah, I think like in the past, I know when I've been overwhelmed about things, I know that you've talked to me about like, go small,
right.
Like think local and go small and just take care of the small things that you can take care of. And so that's where I'm feeling like I am right now, and just trying to think of ways to go small. And, I put on Threads because I think I have to deactivate X, Twitter forever, because it just can't be. I just can't, like, I mean nothing to the person that owns that social media platform. And I'm so bummed out because that social media platform has meant a lot to me. I worked hard to earn my followers there, and a lot of them became friends of mine. And I love a lot of people that have used that platform over the years, but I just can't. Like, I can't help him in whatever his agenda is, even if I'm meaningless to his agenda. So I think I have to deactivate that account. But anyway, so I've been trying to use Threads more. I mean, is Meta any better than, I don't know. But right now, you make your choices. But I put on Threads that I just was texting people that I loved, like just saying that I love you, And when I did that, I got a bunch of texts from people that I hadn't even necessarily texted yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure I would have, just saying like, I love you too. You're on my list. And like, even that it's something. And it was like the most I could do. And it did help my heart a little bit. And I hope it helped other people. But like, that's very small. That was a very small act, but it was just like what I felt like I could do,
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I don't know, guys. I really don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I've had lots of, and there are these calls, like a bunch of organizations have, these like calls, the
right.
post-mortem, what's next kind of thing. And it's difficult to like, well, I haven't even joined any of them because I'm like, I don't know.
That's okay. You gave it your all in when it counted. And now, I think we can hit pause and sort of join as we can, because I mean, listen, it's coming very soon.
It's coming.
So, but so I'm not saying like we can put off whatever we're going to do forever, but I think it's okay to like take a day, 2 days, a week to breathe. Just, you did just run a marathon, and not literally, but like a lot of people just ran a marathon and left it all out there. And so what happens next isn't, as you said, like there's not a lot to be done except for how we take care of each other and take care of ourselves.
Yeah. And, and I think, we've talked a lot about like critical thinking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it's important for all of us to think a little bit critically about where we're at and how we are here and how so many millions and millions and millions of our friends and neighbors decided that like a rapist, snake oil salesman, convicted felon, and terrifying person was a better choice. And how do we start to like change narratives away from, like you said, people thinking, I mean, and by the way, we all, like those of us who understand, know that these guys don't give a fuck about these people.
No.
Hey, I don't know about you, but I do know that the holidays can create even more waste than usual. Every year, Americans throw away 25% more trash from Thanksgiving to New Year's. Well, what if we told you there was a way to get all your holiday shopping done without the guilty feeling over all the waste that typically comes? Meet Blue Land. Guys, we love Blue Land. Blue Land is on a mission to eliminate single-use plastic by reinventing cleaning essentials to be better for you and the planet. The idea is very simple. You get one of their beautiful Forever bottles. You fill it with water. You drop in a tablet and then you get cleaning. Refills start at $2.25. You don't have to buy a new plastic bottle every time you run out. And you can even set up a subscription like I have, or you can buy in bulk so you never run out of the products you use the most. From the cleaning sprays to hand soap, which I love, the foaming hand soap, to toilet cleaner and laundry tablets. I use it all. All Blueland products are made with ingredients you can feel good about it. And for a limited time, Blueland's hand soap, hey, I just said that's my favorite, is getting a festive upgrade with a beautiful chocolate-inspired gift set with cozy scents like toasted vanilla. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Wintry pine and sweet chestnut. It's the perfect gift for your loved one or for yourself to reduce waste. And you know, when you have guests coming over, they're going to use that hand soap up. All right. Blueland has a special offer just for you listeners. Right now, get 15% off your first order by going to blueland.com/best. You don't want to miss it. Blueland.com/best for 15% off. That's blueland.com/best to get 15% off. Foria. You know how much I love Foria. Whether I'm having sex with somebody or with myself, guys, Foria just turns me on. Listen, Awaken Arousal Oil, the sex oil, will just make you and your partner feel incredible. And better sex starts with Foria. Listen, imagine the best orgasm you've ever had. Now imagine that it could be even better with products that were designed to naturally enhance sexual pleasure and give you access to bigger and better orgasms solo, like I said, or with someone. You know, why not? Foria is using all natural and plant-based ingredients to intensify sexual pleasure and relieve discomfort. And Foria has amassed a serious cult following, tens of thousands of people who've had their sex lives transformed through their products. Honestly, Foria makes products that will transform your sexual pleasure, especially if you have a vagina or if you love someone that has a vagina. Their products are made to help women and people with vulvas fully experience their sexual pleasure, from heightened orgasms to more sexual comfort. Foria's Awaken Arousal Oil is the ultimate pleasure pregame. Awaken uses CBD and warming, sensation-inducing organic botanicals that enhance arousal, sensitivity, pleasure, access to orgasm, and help with any discomfort. And best of all, Awaken just turns you on. Used together, Foria's Awaken Arousal Oil and the Sex Oil are the perfect combo for peak pleasure. So yes, you have my permission to try this. And buy it for your friends. Perfect stocking stuffer, perfect gift for the girls. I fully endorse you to go ahead and treat yourself to more, deeper, fuller pleasure wherever you can find it and as often as possible. You can start with a bottle of Foria. Foria is offering a special deal for our listeners. Get 20% off your first order by visiting foriawellness.com/best or use code BEST at the checkout. That's FORIA wellness.com/best for 20% off your first order. I recommend trying their Awaken Arousal Oil and the Sex Oil. You'll thank me later.
Okay, so there's been a lot of talk about like the various demographics and, you know, and I saw one clip of a man, a Latino voter who voted
for Trump.
And somebody asked him like why was that your choice? And he did say that the way that Democrats talk makes me feel bad about myself. And so I'm not saying that I have no commentary on like no criticism of that man feeling that way because you feel the way that you feel. And we spend so much time telling people your feelings are valid. And so I do think that we have to start thinking, I guess, more about the way that we communicate these very good and helpful ideas about policies and how we communicate to people that we're on your side, you know? And obviously like bigger brains than mine have been working on this problem forever. And I think part of the problem is that on our side, we have so many different ideas.
Well,
and,
right.
We tend to debate ourselves about ideas about how people behave and what they think and like what's acceptable in our side versus like what we can let go. And these are
right,
all.
But even like, even policy wise,
Yes.
like the left is such a spectrum.
Yeah.
And the right has really figured it out in terms of it not being a spectrum.
They're a team. They're a lockstep.
In lockstep. And it's like, but I guess what is so wild still to me is the disconnect between what they're in lockstep about is not benefiting the people that are voting for them.
Right.
Minus the social issues that have been used to control them.
Yes. Yeah.
It's gay marriage, transphobia now.
Right.
Like LGBTQ rights and transphobia now and abortion.
Yeah.
But what's interesting too is like in all those fucking places, I mean, with the exception of 3, right? Florida needed the 60% because
of how they worked the law there.
I mean, Ron DeSantis is like actually a psychopath, I think.
I mean, yeah, he's not a good dude.
But anyway, that 60%, it was over 57%.
Right.
But
and
it wasn't
so
enough to pass.
So close.
But I'm just saying my point is that like Arizona, it passed, there are a bunch of states in which the abortion amendments on the ballot, the measures passed, which is, by the way, we knew this before this election. We knew this before Dobbs from the book, The Turnaround Study, which is a really comprehensive book, research book about abortion and like totally bipartisan, unequivocally proves that it does not matter what your religious affiliation or what your political party affiliation is. If you need abortion care or you want an abortion, you will get it.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like the turnaround study is like a really fascinating and super comprehensive, like decades long.
Well, it also probably applies to literally anything. It's like, I think about it like being on a diet. Like, you know what I mean? Like people say, oh, I'm going on a diet all the time. Like it's the classic. But then if there's a chocolate cake and you want the chocolate cake, you have it. If you want to, that's exactly how we all treat anything, any type of financial rule, any type of any type of law in the United States. People are like, here's what I strongly believe, except
if it comes to me.
If I need to not believe that for 1 second because of something that I want or need, I'm gonna, I'll make an exception. It's American exceptionalism.
Right, American exceptionalism.
And so that is something it's not unique to anyone. It's something that is kind of pervasive. And I do wonder, I wonder a lot of things. I wonder about the language that we use to talk to each other and to talk about each other. I wonder if social media is like a cancer that is just...
I gotta be honest. I think it's news. I think it's the news.
News
more so than social media.
Upholding, because it's business, and so these are the business guys, and I feel so bad, but it sounds condescending to try to tell someone that votes this way. All they care about is being billionaires. That's all they care about. They don't care about God. They don't care about religion. They don't care about your children, or if you don't want to have it. They want to be oppressive because that's how you become wildly rich, is to be like an oppressor. Like that's part of the business of big business. And that's really all they care about is money and power. And they just use all of these issues to get people hyped up and angry and feel like they've been wronged. Like the way that they stoke fear about the border in someone that lives in the northern part of the United States. Like, you don't even live near that. You don't go here.
Right.
What are you so worried about? What are you so scared of? And like for me, it harkens back to like 9/11 when the whole country made 9/11 about them. And I'm like, nobody's coming to your main street to fly a plane into one of your buildings in your small town. And that's no shade to like a small town. I'm just saying, like, there's no fear of that, but people are so afraid, and they've been made to be afraid, and like very purposefully it feels like to me. So that's just like, I just want to think on it and think about like how, and maybe it's the dissolution of community, the thing that we've been talking about for so many years. Maybe it's that community doesn't exist really anymore. And so people don't have a mind to be like, yeah, but what would be best for like everyone I know? What would be the best for everyone I know? Also taking myself into account, but like what would benefit my family and everyone in my neighborhood and everyone in my town and in my state and in my region and in my country. Like nobody thinks that way. And maybe it's because we just don't have community anymore. I don't know.
I think the community piece is huge. And I think that there's just a lack of connection and understanding. I mean, people are so fucking reductive to me on the internet about who I am and what I do.
Yeah.
Because obviously I'm a very out of touch celebrity that doesn't know about real people.
Right.
Like,
right.
Okay, motherfuckers.
Right.
Like, get the fuck out of here.
Like you're not an American. Like you don't have a right to.
Like I don't have. Yeah.
Like you didn't grow up in Arizona.
Like I didn't grow up the way that I grew up, and like all this shit that I have now, like fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Like I maybe don't have a firsthand. Oh my God.
There's dance class upstairs. They're still dancing. I love that.
I love that too. I love that for them.
I love that for them.
Whatever. I don't fucking know. I'm like, it's just so ridiculous and reductive. Like people, like, listen, a bitch contains multitudes. That was like literally like my thesis of life from, 1 million years ago.
Right.
But but nuance is like the thing people aren't willing to hold both.
Right.
Aren't willing to like have nuance in these conversations. And it's hard for me right now in this moment to have any nuance for people that decided to vote for that guy. It's really difficult.
So you know how I love to read scientific studies. I've been thinking about, there was this rat study where rats had access to drugs.
Oh yeah, I know about the rats. Yeah,
yeah, and so they had pairs of socially housed rats, and if both members of the pair had access to the drug, they both took the drug. But if only one member of the pair had access to the drug, neither took the drug. And so what does that tell us? That there is like societal sort of communion and support even where a rat maybe doesn't feel like they need this drug if this other person, I don't know. I just always think that there's so much to be learned from animals and the way that they behave because we are animals, humans are animals, and we probably have behaviors that we're not even aware of. But I think, listen, I thought the Kamala campaign, I thought their messaging was so great and it got people excited, maybe a little too excited. I don't know. I wish I had been more realistic. Like, I wish I had some skepticism. Not that it would have changed anything about me voting or supporting or being vocal publicly about supporting her, but I just wish I hadn't had my heart broken so hard, because usually I'm very pragmatic about things like that. But I went all in, and so like my heart is a little broken right now. But I do want to think a little bit about the way that we talk to people, because like I get it. Like I get it that I don't ever want to talk to anyone again that I think is like a hateful person. But then how do we win if we don't convert people who are hateful to not being hateful? And even now I'm saying the word hateful, and that would be automatically like a turnoff, but it's like, I don't even know what's the nicer word for, what's the nicer word for somebody that is like, yeah, I know there's a bunch of bad stuff, but it's just that I want eggs to be cheaper. I want eggs to be cheaper too. I really do want that. But yeah, I don't, what's the nicer word for somebody that's willing to make that deal with the devil over eggs or gas or taxes or, I don't know, but that's something that I want to give some thought to in the coming days and see if I don't know. I don't know, because it's shocking to me that nothing he ever said flipped everybody.
No shit.
The other way. A lot of people came out and said like, I can't vote for that man again. I'm embarrassed that I voted for him in the first place. So a lot of people said that, but it sure didn't work on everybody, So, I mean, I can't believe it was even close.
I brought exactly like 6 items on this trip that I'm on for makeup. And I mean, that Thrive Cosmetics was the only thing that I brought with me. Like, that's it. Because it's just like fresh faced, radiant. Well, you can do a little autumn glam if you are so inclined. You can spice up your fall routine. Obviously, you know that the Thrive Cosmetics Viral Tubing Mascara is the thing I'm most obsessed with. And it's very easy to see why all of their bestsellers have like thousands and thousands of 5-star reviews. But I also love that their formulas are good for you and that they give back to communities for every product purchased. It's right in the name, Cosmetics. They're 100% certified vegan, cruelty-free, and have 0 parabens, sulfates, or phthalates. I love knowing that Thrive Cosmetics gives back and donates to 8 major causes, including those impacted by cancer, domestic abuse, and veterans, and education organizations, all of which very valuable and much needed right now. One of the things I brought with me was the Sheer Strength Hydrating Lip Tint. I love it. It deeply hydrates your lips, but it's a very subtle hint of a tint. It applies evenly. It lasts up to 6 hours and it glides on smooth and it's comfortable and it looks beautiful and it's lightweight and it's balmy. And they have 8 perfect fall shades to naturally enhance your beautiful little lips. And I also brought with me the Brilliant Eye Brightener because it's very easy to use. And there are 17 different buildable shades. And I brought 2 with me. I used like the one that's sort of like the classic sort of highlight brightener. And then I used the taupey one and I kind of use that in my crease. And I love it as much as I can say. I love it. Anyway, guys, spice up your fall look with Thrive Cosmetics, luxury beauty that gives back. Right now, you can get an exclusive 20% off your first order at thrivecosmetics.com/best. That's Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSEMETICS.com/best for 20% off your first order. Honestly, I feel like I'm always looking for ways to eat a little bit healthier, especially now. Sometimes my problem, though, is that I don't really know where to start. Like, I want to find meals that are easy and taste great and are good for me and not exceedingly expensive. And my life has been very crazy right now. And when I get home from work, all I want to do is just like eat something and go to bed. And who has the time? Who has the time? Also, it's very expensive and honestly very unhealthy for me to get takeout all the time. I need something quick and easy and nutritious. So we've tried and I am into Dinnerly. Honestly, Dinnerly is the most affordable meal kit we've ever come across, with meals as low as $2.99 per meal. With our code BEST, you can get up to 27 free meals. With Dinnerly, you can choose over 100 delicious dishes every week, from steak dinners to oven roasted salmon, or even they have like takeout dupes, which are incredible. And you can find meals that will help you party with ease this holiday season. It's honestly a lifesaver, helping you stay stress-free with those day-to-day meals while offering also convenient and affordable solutions to holiday hosting. They have some larger options to serve to a crowd. So they've got these, I personally love these holiday brunch boards, which are incredible, but they also have things like herbed sausage stuffing and the Holiday Lights gingerbread cookies. Easy peasy. Let's do it. And the recipes are completely customizable. You can choose your own protein, swap in low carb, make a dish vegetarian. They're the only meal kit with gluten-free customizations. The only one with gluten-free customizations. Dinnerly truly makes mealtime flex. Not only can you customize your meals any way you want, but there's also different serving sizes for families that are bigger, families that are smaller, budget friendly. Honestly, they really do it all. I'm kind of starving just talking about my Dinnerly right now. And with Dinnerly, you're not locked into anything long-term. They're very flexible with their subscription. They allow you to edit, to pause, or to cancel your boxes at any time. So this holiday season, give the gift of great, affordable food with Dinnerly. Head to dinnerly.com/offer/best and use code BEST for up to 27 free meals. Once again, that's dinnerly.com/offer/best for up to 27 free meals. And make sure you use our promo code BEST so they know that we sent you.
Do you want to, we asked people to send in some questions. Do you want to answer some questions?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
We may as well, just because, like, guys, we may as well just give you a little something else. Just a little something else. Wait, also it's John's birthday and I got him the best present ever.
What'd you get him?
And I think I can just say it here because while his mom did say that she listened to the podcast, hi, and his sister listened to one, hi, but I think it was just because they knew they were going to see me and
they
I
were
think
just
they were
testing it out.
Maybe.
They were sampling it.
Maybe. I don't know if they're listening to everyone, but if you are.
I hope they do.
But if you are, hi.
Please download and subscribe. John's family.
But I think I got him such a good gift and it's really funny. It's cracking me up. This is going to sound, I don't know, whatever. He loves playing Connect 4. Like he loves it.
Yeah.
Like it's like, anyway, I got him this really nice, like Lucite Connect, like a fancy Connect
like a
4.
Fancy
like
Connect
4. Like a
4.
fancy Connect 4.
For formal Connect 4 occasions.
Yes. And I like had his name engraved on it.
Oh my God. That's so cute. He's going to love that.
I mean,
he's going to
I hope so.
Does you have to show him the commercial where when they're
What
like,
commercial?
do you remember the commercial from when we were little kids? It was like Connect 4. And what does the kid say to his sister? He's like, pretty sneaky, sis.
No, I don't remember that at all.
Oh my God.
We don't need to remind him how old I am.
Well, you don't even remember it. You're too young to remember it.
Okay,
so.
but you know what I mean?
It's true.
I don't need to be like, this is from my childhood. You know, he asked me if I was a boomer.
What?
He didn't know generations. So I'm going to give him that pass. But he was like, wait, so what generation are you? Are you a boomer? And I was like,
oh,
what?
Lord.
No. What?
You're a young
I'm the youngest. Okay, so I actually looked it up. So I am the last year of Gen X, 79. I'm kind of bummed that I wasn't born in 80.
Really?
Yeah. Most of like the people that I was in, no, I was actually really young for my grade.
Yeah.
Yeah,
me too.
So everyone that I was friends with was born in like 78.
Right.
Or 77. But then, but like Michelle's 80. I just feel like I should have been born in 1980, Mom.
Well,
whatever.
You can't really, but maybe.
What do you mean? Know. Maybe we can just change it?
Because I mean, like so many of my friends' grandparents didn't even have like birth certificates because of like the countries that they were born in or whatever.
Wait, no, I don't think Mark's grandparents had birth certificates or whatever.
Yeah, I never had my birth certificate until I was an adult. Because my parents just they weren't real birth certificate collecting type of people. So I never got it until I had to travel for work and I needed a passport. And then I had to like apply to the registrar of the Air Force base that I was born on to like send my official birth certificate. So that's the first time I ever got my birth certificate when I was like 22. But what I did need was a work permit when I turned 14 so that I could get a job in this local pharmacy. And I was like, they were like, okay, do you have your birth certificate? And I was like, nope. And they were like, do you have a social security number? No, my parents had not applied for a social security.
Wait, you have to apply for it?
Yes.
I mean, my kids have them.
Yeah, my kids got them immediately.
Yeah, but I thought that it was automatic. You know, I'm not good with paperwork. I can't imagine that I had to do it.
Maybe it is automatic now, but like for whatever reason, I'm
just saying clerical work, not my strong suit.
Yes. So I was like, I need this work permit. And they were like, well, you need to get a social security card. And I was like, went to the social security office and I was like, what do I don't know how to get like a birth certificate. I'm 14. And they were like, oh, you know what? You can get a baptismal certificate. And they were like, just go home and get your baptismal certificate. And I was like, I have not been baptized, but I mentioned it to a friend and they were like, my mom is a secretary at the church and she will probably just fill out a baptismal certificate for you.
Whoa.
So we did just do a sort of slapdash baptism in the office of the church. And I got a baptismal certificate. And that's how I got my social security number.
My mom was great at keeping records. I have everything from like, well, you know, she framed my receipt from the hospital, how much I cost.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. In case she wanted to return you.
Yeah. She gave it to me as a gift a couple of years ago.
That's so cute.
I actually think she was like hoping I would like cut her a check or something. By the way, it wasn't cheap in 1979.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was like $2,000.
Whoa, that's a lot.
I know, that's what I thought. I was a C-section. I was a planned C, so it was a surgery. Let's be real.
Holy moly!
I know, but I'm just saying. Anyway, where was this? This was about John's birthday present.
We were talking about how you could like probably just get someone to help you come up with an official document that adjusted your birthday.
I mean, didn't Rebel Wilson win that like lawsuit and like she doesn't have to tell her age?
Oh yeah, because
it's too late for me. I've been on TV since I was. But you know, I could have been 16 on Freaks and Geeks. You guys don't know.
Yeah, 100%.
I was
busy. You know what the funniest thing was? I was like an associate producer at the Rosie O'Donnell show, one of my many jobs there on route to becoming a writer. And the funniest thing was you'd be able to pull all the old magazine articles of all the, like if an older celebrity was coming on the show. And the things that these people said about how old they were when they had no idea that the internet was coming and that it would one day be able to spit out anything you ever said. It was wild. Like even men were wildly chopping like 10 or 15 years off their ages.
I do just feel like, I don't know. I was trying to explain this to somebody the other day. I'm like, don't feel like my age is accurate at all.
Yeah.
It's weird. I just don't think it's right.
Yeah. I've always felt 15. Like I just have always felt 15.
Oh, well, there's the perpetual age. Yes.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, my perpetual age fluctuates between being like 19.
Yeah.
And maybe like 27. But like my actual age that I feel, like my gestational age or whatever, whatever you would call it.
Yeah.
Like what the age that I really feel like I am for real.
Your real feel temperature.
My real feel right now is like 40, 41.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, like my body's always felt like 55.
No, my body feels better today than it did when I was
amazing.
41.
That's so good.
I know.
That's so
It
good.
is great.
Yeah.
But
That's great.
anyway. Okay,
We'll see.
let's
Okay,
take some
questions
because I got to go.
Yeah, we gotta get out of here. It's gonna be a shorty, because we both have to get on planes. I was wondering if Busy would be willing to speak to her experience getting an ADHD diagnosis. I'm a cis woman in her mid-30s who has gotten a PhD in psychology. LOL, the irony. And I've recently had multiple people bring up the possibility of an ADHD diagnosis for me.
Literally ADD. What was the question?
She just wondered if you could speak to your experience getting a diagnosis.
Yeah,
She said she resonated with you saying you're going to be too much for some people and that's okay. Those aren't your people.
Yeah, well, I think that's true. But I think the later in life ADHD diagnosis, especially for women, is very common. There's been a huge uptick in the last 5 to 10 years in women being diagnosed in their like mid to late 30s and 40s. And part of the reason is because, as we know, women are rarely, if ever, studied health-wise. And that includes our mental health. And the truth of the matter is that ADHD presents very differently in girls than it does in boys. And what they always were going on was the standard of what it looked like in boys was, and that oftentimes, most of the time, presented with a large hyperactivity piece of the puzzle. But as women, we know that women and girls have a tendency to internalize as opposed to externalize. So we would take what was happening for us, which is that like if we were to externalize it, it would be us running around in circles, and we internalized it and put it into our brains. And we were like essentially running in circles in our brains, which is exhausting. And, you know, because we are girls and they miss a lot of the signs and no one was studying it anyway, many of us, in spite of the fact that we were like dealing with our brains working differently and no one was helping us with the tools, we just came up with our own coping mechanisms. Right. And a lot of people, a lot of women especially, and I for years and years and years, starting in my teen years, was sort of misdiagnosed with anxiety, low-grade depression, low self-esteem, like all of these things that actually, once I got the ADHD diagnosis, my postpartum anxiety was different. That was like a separate situation. But the rest of my life, once I got the ADHD diagnosis and really started to understand it and take medicine, all of those other things went away. And over the years, in my teens and my 20s and my 30s, I had many different doctors put me on lots of different kinds of drugs to try to address those things, the anxiety, the depression, da-da-da-da-da. But it wasn't until I was on the ADD medicine that finally all of those symptoms went away. And yeah, like, I mean, I'm proud of all of us. You have your PhD, ma'am. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I was super hyper productive.
Yeah.
But we also, in addition to like figuring out coping, I mean, I would drink massive amounts of caffeine every day.
Right.
Which is a stimulant, which would help my brain to slow down and focus.
Right.
And that's what ADD drugs typically are. I mean, there's also a non-stimulant that I work, like I, you know, take and like am paid by them.
Yeah.
And that's like a whole other journey too. But anyway, there's lots of different, I think any woman who feels like, wait, maybe that's me, should definitely find a doctor who specializes in it and go and talk to them.
Yeah. And then she wanted to know, did getting the diagnosis help you accept or reconcile any of those different pieces of yourself?
For sure. And in fact, I was saying this, like, honestly, when I was working with that brand, a month or two ago, it has allowed me to have so much compassion for younger me.
Yeah.
I was really, really hard on myself.
Yeah.
And really mean to myself about things that I felt like I should have been able to do, that other people were doing, and why couldn't I do it? I must be stupid.
Yeah.
And I called myself a lot of names and was just really mean. And it has allowed me now to look back and be like, oh, you poor thing.
Right.
You obviously weren't stupid. You're not stupid now. We know you're not dumb, baby.
Right.
Like, it really has changed the way that I viewed myself, which is great and been very healing.
That's great.
This show is brought to you by BetterHelp. This month is about gratitude, and this month is about taking care of yourself. And I think that one incredible way to take care of ourselves, especially when we're trying our best to make sense of everything in this world, which isn't easy, is therapy. If you're thinking of starting therapy, BetterHelp is worth a try, man. You can learn positive coping skills, how to set boundaries, and it can also just help you get through the times that we're in. You know what I mean? The wonderful thing about BetterHelp is it's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient and flexible and suited to your schedule. You fill out a brief questionnaire. You get matched with a licensed therapist. You switch therapists anytime, no additional charge. You can just let that gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/busy today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/busy. If there is one thing that you know about me, I literally never sleep. I can't sleep. I have trouble falling asleep. I have trouble staying asleep. There was a period of time for 5 years where between the hours of 2 and 5, I was just up, roaming around my house. And here's the thing about wanting to be a person who is healthy and who is active. Sleep is literally the foundation of your whole body health. And so when we sleep well, our minds and our bodies perform at their best. Good sleep is both mental and physical. Our daily performance depends on it. That is why I'm so excited to talk about Beam's Dream Powder, which is a science-backed, healthy hot cocoa for sleep. I'm not joking, guys. The product really works. It has single-handedly changed the way I sleep for the better. Also, it's kind of just delicious. It's got lots of good flavors like sea salt caramel, brownie batter, vanilla chai, and the Beam Dream Powder original flavor, cinnamon cocoa, which is honestly my favorite. Each serving is only 15 calories, 0 grams of sugar. And I can say this with confidence, better sleep has literally never tasted better. Plus, you have a nice little delightful cup of hot cocoa before you go to bed. Dream is tested for high quality efficacy and formulated to ease your body into rest, supporting all 4 stages of the sleep cycle to help you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. And I will just say from personal experience that other sleep aids obviously can cause next day grogginess, but Dream contains a powerful all-natural blend of reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, apogene, and melatonin, and that's what helps you fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up refreshed. It's very easy to add to your nighttime routine or whenever you need it. You just mix Dream into hot water or milk or oat milk or whatever you want. You can froth it up. You just sip it before bed. And honestly, here's the thing. The holidays are coming up. There's a million things to do, but there's a lot of overindulging as well. And between giant meals and holiday parties and the alcohol, sometimes it gets you really off track, off your normal sleep routine, but it doesn't have to be hard to get back on track. Beam Dream can help you secure 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep, just a few sips to get you back on track. Right now, Beam is offering our listeners exclusive early access to their cyber sale. This is their biggest sale of the year, and our listeners can shop it early. Get up to 50% off when you visit shopbeam.com/busy. To try Dream for the lowest price of the year, head on over to beam.com/busy and get yours before they sell out. That's shopbeam.com/busy for up to 50% off.
Okay, here's the next question. It's a classic. I live in New York City and work in the TV film industry as an assistant costume designer, and I'm having my first baby this December. I've always known I wanted a family, but working in our industry, I came to realize it would never feel like the right time. Over the last 10 years, I've worked incredibly hard to grow my career, and it feels like just as I'm hitting my stride, I will need to take time off. Like a lot of us in the biz, I get maybe an unhealthy amount of self-worth and confidence through my job, and I love what I do. I know that I will want to return to work after our maternity leave, and we'll need to figure out a way to transition back to a demanding and long hours job with a child. Since both of you have gone through this, I wonder if you could talk about having your first job back after your first baby, the highs, the lows, any advice, anything you wish you had done differently.
Oh, good Lord.
I was really lucky because, for a couple things, I was really lucky because I had such a good job at the time that my husband, who didn't have the best job and he didn't love it and he had no passion for it, was able to stay at home with our son for the first year. And we really thought we were doing something, you know, because like not a lot of guys were stay-at-home dads at the time. So we were like, we're on the forefront of this new movement. Hilarious. And then when my son turned a year old, he was old enough to come to work with me because we had a daycare program at Rosie. And I just feel like, God, I wish more powerful people would use their power to make something like that happen, because that is what Rosie chose to do with her power. And it made such a difference in my life, in the life of my child. Also, it saved us so much money. I was able to just put some money away and not live paycheck to paycheck because healthcare was because childcare was eating up my entire paycheck, like I know some people are experiencing. So that just made such a huge difference. And also in my anxiety level as a new mom, right,
because your kid was there.
Yeah, my kid was home with his father.
Yeah.
And then my kid was there. Now, when Lincoln was born, it was a totally different situation. And I had to go to work and leave a new baby. And we had a babysitter at that time. So it was the complete, because, TV shows don't last forever. So it was the completely opposite experience. I had to pay for someone to help take care of my kid, which ate up almost the whole paycheck that I was going out to earn.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband was working at that time again. And my anxiety was through the roof. And I really, really hated it. But I not only had to work because I needed to make a living, but I also had to work because it was like what I loved to do. Yeah. And we just weren't in a position and, emotionally.
No, but I'm sorry. Nobody's in a position. At this point in the world.
Right. So, it's not easy. And I was so lucky to have that first situation, but in a way, I wish I never knew that first situation, because then I had to go through the regular situation that most people have to live through. And I really hated it. And I can see why people really hate it. It's hard.
It's really hard.
It's hard.
I have to say that, oh boy, what a journey, right? Like, I was on Cougar Town. I did not have much help the first year of Birdie's life, and I wasn't on Cougar Town. And then I did the pilot when she was like 5 or 6 months old.
Yeah.
And Ileana, the woman that became our full-time nanny, started working for me kind of part-time through she was my friend's cousin's, the nanny for her children. Yeah. And then when Birdie was a year old and I started Cougar Town, Ileana came and worked for us full-time. I was lucky enough that my job, afforded me the ability to have a full-time nanny.
Yeah.
Which was unbelievably lucky, and even still, it's fucking hard, and you're spending a lot of time away from your baby and a lot of time when you are like, well, I guess it's different in New York, but in LA, like so much time like racing home
Right.
to try to make it for bedtime or bath time, bedtime, reading, whatever.
Yeah.
And then like missing it sometimes and like feeling so guilty about it. I mean, my biggest advice is that you have to, again, give yourself grace and be easy on yourself and know that don't kill yourself to go do all of the things with your kid. Make sure that the things that you do with your kid, you're really present and really able to be there with them and not exhausted beyond belief, not like checked out, not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would be the thing that I would, if I could do it again.
Yeah.
I think I spent too much time being concerned that like I had to like race home and do da-da-da-da-da. But then I would get there and I was like half myself.
Yeah,
I was like a shell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas if I had been able to, but maybe that's also just what it is when you're like a new parent. I don't even fucking know.
Yeah, it's possible.
Point.
I think you have to be, and it's hard because I'm giving you another assignment. You have to be aware of what you need, because I think a lot of times, especially you're the mom, and I think that in partnerships, people defer to the mom. Like she knows what to do. Like this baby came from her. Mm-hmm. And so they defer to you. And sometimes when people defer to you, it really means that they're just getting out of your way and quote unquote letting you do your thing. But that means that you're doing everything sometimes. And I think you need to be really vocal about what it is you need. Like if you, even things like, okay, you're taking the kid to daycare on the way to your job. If you need help getting your bag and your briefcase and whatever you need to bring to work and the baby out into the car seat, like, don't struggle with that. Talk to your partner. Like, I need help with this. I need you to help me do this every day. Like, let's make this a habit. If you are rushing home for bath time or something and it's just like not possible, then talk to your partner. Like, what about if you're home, you give the bath, and then I read the books?
Right.
And then, we sit down and have dinner together after the baby's in bed. I think you just have to be like really explicit about like what you need.
What is that book that woman had?
About like dividing.
The domestic labor.
Is it called Fair Play?
Fair Play.
Yeah.
Eve Rodsky.
Yeah. And there's also like a deck of cards.
Yes. I was going to say, I actually would really recommend Fair Play.
Yeah.
It's a book by Eve Rodsky, and then there's a deck of cards that's almost like like one of those like card games or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to explain it, whatever. It's a couples conversation deck for prioritizing what's important. And I don't know, I really think that it's really great. You sit with your partner for an hour when you're relaxed and feeling good.
Yeah.
You lay out all the task cards. You choose only the ones that apply to your family. And then you take turns deciding which tasks you'll own completely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of rad. Like, she's really worked out this whole system. And I think it's really beneficial for couples to talk about that stuff before. Also, it gives a great deal of agency to both parties.
Yeah.
To say like, oh, you know what? I really don't want to ever fucking do a dish. I'm sorry. I can't.
Right.
It's not for her.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Can you do that? And
Yeah.
I will do this.
Yeah.
I think it's useful. Anyway, I highly recommend that.
I think it's useful too. And, I
wish I had that early on in my relationship.
I wish you had too, because I was really lucky because my husband like just intuitively did that without.
Well, but even still, like to your point and what you were saying, like you have to know, like if you need help, sometimes you don't fucking know, especially if you're a person who's not used to expressing the things that you need ever.
Right.
A. B, it's your first time having a kid and you're overwhelmed and you're not like in touch with what it is that you need yet. But to be able to have that clear division
Yeah.
of tasks at least,
Yeah.
I think is super helpful.
I
And
was
somebody
really-
else giving you what they are.
Right. I was really lucky in, talk about like trying to learn the lesson in something, find the silver lining in something. I probably would have been the kind of new mother who would have tried to do everything myself and allowed everybody to stand back and watch me and let me. But Eli's birth was really difficult. Like I was tore up. I was messed up. I was in the hospital for a couple weeks and I couldn't. I just simply could not. And so my husband, like while I healed and recovered, he had to. He had to
figure it out.
He had to figure it out. And it was almost like he had to do everything. And it was good for him because it did give him a lot of agency. And like even to the point where he was like, oh, this is how we like, change his diaper or whatever, like when I was up and around and feeling good enough to sort of do those things. So, yeah.
Good luck to you.
We know you can do it and just keep talking about the things that you need. Okay, this person says, I just moved to LA from Colorado. I'm 33. I know y'all have moved around. So my question would be just advice for settling into a new city and meeting new friends.
Oh, wow. Well, my advice. Take a class.
Yes.
Like something that you're interested in.
Go to the Apple store. That's where you met Jen Tulloch.
That's where I met Jen Tulloch, was at the Apple store. When you're out in places, don't be on your phone or with headphones on. Be paying attention to the world around you.
Yeah.
Because if you're like in a bookstore and someone is perusing a book that like you've read, you can like strike a conversation. I'm serious. Like I know it sounds so dumb, but I think so many people like miss opportunities to become friends or whatever because they're just like in their own world and tuning it all out. And like there is something to be said for not so that you don't miss it, But taking a class is great. I met a friend in LA once years and years ago in a photography class, like that was at Otis, like a extra whatever,
Yeah.
continuing education class.
Continuing ed. Yeah.
Yeah. There's all kinds of continuing education classes, pottery classes. Obviously, you know me. I love my pottery.
Also, like going to events for things that you truly love. I say truly love because sometimes you're like, oh, I'll go to like the symphony or whatever. If you don't give a shit about the symphony, don't go to a symphony.
It's not going to be your people.
You have to go to like a concert of someone that you like, and you have to like sometimes go alone and talk to someone else who is dancing on their own, as Robin says. I want when I lived in Brooklyn, I met this guy in line at the movies and we just had like the best talk, and we're still friends to this day, like 25 years later, just from like striking up a conversation. So to your point of like not having headphones on, not being distracted, like you have to be open to like having a conversation with someone.
Totally.
And, and then the courageous thing of like taking it to the next level. And like the modern thing is to be like, oh, are you on Instagram? I'll follow you on Instagram.
Right.
Then you immediately like have that connection with that person. You can reach out and message. Parasocial. Yeah. But then
and workout classes too.
Yeah. Workout classes. And then it can become social. And so like, I like to host things. I know you like to host things. So once you like know a few friends and then you have like a couple, Instagram friends that are from various things that you met, you can be like, hey, I'm having a few friends over for pizza.
Yeah.
Would you want to come by? That would be nice. And then, just become friends with people who, some of my really good friends are people that were friends of yours that I've met.
Totally.
And then like you moved away. So now I have to take care of them.
Yeah. And the same thing goes for like dating, I think, as for friendship. You can ask friends to set you up.
Yeah.
You can be like, do you guys have anybody that you think I would be friends with? Because I'm looking for more friends.
Yeah.
And like, that's totally chill.
It totally works.
And it works.
Our friend Paul F. Tompkins is the best person about that. Some people are very gatekeepy about friends, especially I feel like in entertainment. Like some people are like, you're this tier friend, but you don't hang out with the upper tier friends.
Interesting.
Have you ever had that? I mean, maybe you haven't because maybe you're always upper tier, but I've been like a second tier friend in the past. Which
Never, Caissie.
not with you, but I have had that experience. But Paul F. Tompkins is a person who nothing gives him greater joy than knowing that two people that know each other because of him are somewhere together having a brunch that doesn't involve him at all in any way because they're like in the same town or something.
Yeah, I'm rarely jealous. I did have one friend that like just took all of my friends and then I was annoyed, and it's not you.
Who took all your
I'll tell you later. It doesn't matter.
All right.
It was a real problem for a minute in my early 30s.
That is hard. I have had that.
And it was like, and then it was like, wait, now you're literally having a brunch with all of my friends, but I'm not invited? Like that kind of vibe.
That is so weird.
Felt rude.
That feels rude. I have had a little bit of that experience in the past where I'm like, you guys are hanging out without, okay. All right. I feel like I introduced you to each other, but okay. But also like the one person that I would say was the most jealous that I sort of felt like I brought her into the group and then I kind of got cut out. They're all still really good friends. And like, I'm friendly with them too, but I was like, I don't know that I would have even stayed close friends with you. So while I was like a little bit hurt when I was 20 years old, it's fine. It worked out the way.
Everything works out the way it's supposed to.
It was fine.
All right. I think we have time for one more. Do we have one
time
more?
for one more? I'm not going to say the person's name.
Okay. Already know it's juicy.
No, it really isn't. And it says, on last week's show, you talked a bit about your live shows and how they were fun, but not necessarily the most lucrative endeavors, and how you would love to be able to do them again in some form in the future. Well, I was compelled to write to you to tell you how your live show a couple of years ago played a part in saving my life. Busy was telling a story at the show about Birdie and about how her therapist had mentioned the term extinction burst, basically explaining that people, teenagers especially, will often experience this phenomenon where every last bit of the person they once were bursts out of them all at once in order to make way for becoming who they are. When Busy told this story, I was on my 4th Chardonnay of the evening, and I say evening loosely because this was 5:30 p.m. I don't know how I remember that story so vividly because after the show, I went to a bar where I proceeded to drink 2 double gin martinis and another glass of wine. I luckily made it home in a taxi in one piece and stumbled in the door around 8:30 p.m., doing my best not to alert my family to my drunken state. It did not work. I remember nothing else of that night after I got home, but the next morning when I woke up, I sat with the very real fact that drinking had been a problem for me for decades. Combined my genetic predisposition to alcoholism with a global pandemic, and it was a recipe for disaster. Extinction burst. If I wanted to let last night be that for me, I could make a decision to stop. I could stop negotiating with myself, stop trying to moderate, stop making rules about when and how to drink. Just stop. Let that be the end of it and emerge anew. I wish you could have seen the look on my then child's face when I told her I was thinking I might try to quit drinking. The smile that spread across her face is burned in my memory and keeps me going on this journey. I had my extinction burst exactly 750 days ago, and sobriety is now what I am doing my best at. 750 days clean and sober, inspired in part by a story you told at a live show I was so lucky to be at. So thank you.
My goodness.
Isn't that so nice?
It is so nice.
It makes me, I'm tearing up a little because I'm so proud of you. And I'm so grateful to you for sending us that message. And I'm so glad you were there that night.
To hear that story.
And I think, listen, I think you would have done it either way, because I think people are going to do what they're going to do. And I just think you had it in you, but I'm so happy that we played a small part in it in any way.
Me too.
I hope you're good. You sound so good. I hope your kid is good and that your family's good. And I know they're so proud of you. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, that's really, really nice.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It's a great one. And it's a good one to end on. That's a little moment of hope. Guys, remember, hope is a practice.
It sure
not
is.
an emotion.
Sure is.
So we can have our emotions.
Yep.
And then we have to continue to practice hope.
Okay. That's the best advice.
All right. Well, you guys, we love you. Take care of yourselves and each other. And we will talk to you next week when we're both back from our trips.
Bye.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing my best.
Oh, no.